Hi, it's Amy from Cakes with Faces and welcome back to Japan News. In this series, I bring you updates about what's new in Japan and new things to do. So today we've got pop-up theme cafes, something new at Toyosu Fish Market in Tokyo, Coco Curry World, a tour of the Olympic Stadium and lots more. Of course, recently we've had the news we've all been waiting for. Japan is open again to foreign tourists at last from this week on the 11th of October. Do check the requirements for your country just in case they change. Your airline should be able to give you information about anything you need to do. And I don't really feel qualified to give advice on this because I haven't been through the procedure yet. But something I found that seems like it'll speed up the process when you arrive in Japan is the My SOS app. You download the app, fill in your details and upload any documents they need, like your proof of vaccination. And then once it's approved, you get a coloured screen with a QR code. If you get a blue or green screen, you can just speed through arrivals without having to show your documentation again. I found this webpage with a super easy 44-step walkthrough of the process with screenshots of each stage showing you what to do. It's from Japan's Ministry of Health, so it should be reliable information. It seems a good idea to follow the process and get this sorted before you go. Another change I've discovered now that I'm trip planning again is that Hyperdia has sadly been discontinued. It was a really useful app and website for looking up train times in Japan. But there are two alternatives called Navitime and Jorudan. I'm not sure if either of them are quite as good as Hyperdia, or maybe it just takes a bit of time to get used to them. You might be thinking, can't I just use Google? And Google is really useful and easy to use for train times, but what it doesn't have is a filter for the JR Pass, and the apps do. You can put on the Japan Rail Pass filter and it only shows you trains that are covered by the pass. So when you're looking up bullet trains, for example, it won't show you the Nozomi or any other trains that aren't covered by the pass. So far, I've mainly been using Navitime. The website version is a bit slow, the app's probably better. You can look up routes, it tells you the prices and even which platform to go to. The other option is Jorudan. The app's called Japan Transit Planner, and the app has more options than the website version. There is a paid version of the app, but the free version will be more than enough for most people. Also, if you have my book, it is kind of annoying that I mention Hyperdia several times in the book. And when I was writing it, I really tried to make it so it wouldn't go out of date too quickly. But some things do change. So with anything like this, there's a link in the book to a web page with any details that have been updated, so you can check it before your trip. Next, if you were hoping to go to the Olympics in Japan, there is now a way you can get a bit of an Olympics experience with a tour of the stadium in Tokyo. You can stand on the track as if you're one of the runners, you can see the backstage areas where the athletes wait, you can go in the changing rooms, and you can stand on the podium as if you're a medal winner. It's a self-guided tour, so you can walk around at your own pace and all the signs and information are available in English. It's open until March 2024 and you can book your tickets online. You book the month before you go. Next, if you're planning a winter trip, a lot of the snow festivals are back on for 2023. Lots of them, like other major events, were cancelled in recent years, but this year they're back. The largest and most famous one, the Sapporo Snow Festival, is at the start of February. This time, one of the sites isn't running, that's the Tsudome site, which has snow slides and activities, but the two main sites in the city centre are on this year. If you want to see what it's like, I've got a playlist all about Hokkaido and my tips for the snow festival. It's extremely cold, but it's definitely worth it. The dates of all the main snow festivals and the other major festivals throughout the year are all on my calendar, which you can pre-order now on cakeswithfaces.co.uk. And there's winter illuminations, which carry on throughout the winter months, not just for Christmas. Some of them carry on right into the new year. Some of them are just free displays on the streets of Tokyo that you can wander through, like this one at Tokyo Midtown in Roppongi. This is the plan for this year's illuminations. They look so colourful. And then there's much larger scale illuminations outside the city all around Japan, like these ones at Lake Sagami, which isn't too far away from Tokyo. They always have this rainbow of coloured lights with millions of LEDs. And this year there's a Sumiko Garashi themed area. It's such a great collab, it's going to be so cute. This one starts in November and continues all the way to the 2nd of April. So if you've got a springtime trip, you could go and see it. Next, we've got a new attraction at Tokyo Tower, which used to have a One Piece themed attraction, but that closed in 2020. And now something new has opened in its place called Red Tokyo Tower, which is Japan's largest esports park. It's got lots of VR games. Some of them are more action, sports-based games, and some of them are a bit more virtual, like simulators. There have been parks like this in the past in Shinjuku and Ikebukuro that closed down, so we'll see how it goes with this one. Now, we've had several updates on Japan news about the Studio Ghibli park. The first phase is going to be opening on the 1st of November. It's on the edge of Nagoya, which is about 2 hours from Tokyo on the bullet train and about an hour from Osaka and Kyoto. While Studio Ghibli in Tokyo is more like a museum, this is going to be more of an outside park with attractions, buildings from the films and some gentle rides. And when it opens, there's also going to be an exhibition at the art gallery in Nagoya about the whole creative process of how they made everything in the park. It's going to have models, concept art and sketches to show how they designed everything. You can book tickets online, and knowing how popular Studio Ghibli is in Tokyo, it definitely seems like a good idea to book tickets if you want to go. The exhibition's in Nagoya until Christmas Day, and then it'll be touring, so there's more chances to catch it in 2023. It's going to Kumamoto, Kobe, which is just a short train ride from Osaka, and Yamaguchi. Now, since Tokyo's fish market moved from Tsukiji to its new location in Toyosu, it's been criticised for being a bit sterile and lacking in character, and people say it doesn't really have the atmosphere of the old market. So I'm wondering if maybe that's why they're building a new attraction that's a bit more visitor friendly. It's called Senkyaku Banrai and it's opening in September 2023. It's a small shopping complex with traditional Edo-style buildings with shops, restaurants and food stalls serving food fresh from the market next door. There'll also be a hotel and hot spring which will have a foot bath on the roof, so you can sit there and enjoy the view of Tokyo Bay, which will be absolutely lovely. It's a stunning view. Next is a new attraction that opened in 2020 called Small World Tokyo. It's in Odaiba in Ariake, just across the bridge from Toyosu Fish Market. It's an indoor attraction with miniature cities and dioramas, a bit like a model village, but indoors. There's also a diorama of a space rocket launch, an airport, and scenes from Sailor Moon and Evangelion. It looks like there's all sorts of details and little things going on, so you can take hundreds of adorable photos of the miniature world. And if you just don't want to leave Tokyo, you can become a resident of the miniature city. They scan you and 3D print a tiny model that lives there for a whole year. So you could even live in the world of Sailor Moon. And while we're talking about Odaiba, several places there have recently closed this year. Venus Fort, the Pallet Town area, the Ferris wheel and TeamLab Borderless. And we finally had an update about what's going to be there instead. It's going to be a sports arena. It's called the A Arena and it's sponsored by Toyota, who used to have Toyota MegaWeb on the site, so I don't know if that's got something to do with it. I do try and be positive about new things and changes, but I feel like this is a bit disappointing. It just doesn't seem as original or interesting as what used to be there. And do we really need more sports arenas after everything that was built for the Olympics? But at least it's going to be used for something. Next, pumpkin news. An update on the beloved yellow spotty pumpkin by artist Yayoi Kusama. It was swept away by the typhoon last year, but now it's been repaired and reinforced and it's back stronger than ever in its original home on Naoshima in Shikoku. Welcome back, pumpkin. Next, there's a Stranger Things pop-up cafe in Tokyo in Shibuya. Now, sometimes pop-up theme cafes are a bit thrown together. The decorations are just attached to the walls, and because they're temporary, the theming isn't as comprehensive as the permanent theme cafes. But this one actually looks really good. It was due to end in September, but it's been so popular that it's been extended until December this year. You can have Elle's waffles, Eggos. There's Demogorgon roast beef pasta. There's various backgrounds to pose with that look really good. They should definitely bring this to other countries. It would be so popular. Next, Coco Curry news. Since they've been opening overseas branches, like this one I went to in London, the overseas branches sometimes have a slightly different menu with dishes they don't have in Japan, like this curry gratin in London. So now there's a new branch of Coco Curry in Tokyo that serves all the dishes you can usually only get in other countries, like omu rice curry and this mapo tofu curry. It's near Tokyo Station, and this special store is called Coco Curry World, which sounds like it should be some sort of curry theme park. It's also styled more like the overseas branches, which is something I noticed when I went to the one in London. The look's a lot more minimal and more high-end looking than the ones in Japan. Next, a quick update about the Sanrio exhibition, which I've mentioned before on Japan News. It's all about how Sanrio started, and it looks so kawaii. There's loads of displays that look really colourful and fun. It was in Tokyo, and now it's touring around Japan. So if you're going this year or next year, there's still a chance you can see it. Currently it's in Kyoto until the 11th of December, and then after that it's touring to Sapporo, Yamaguchi, and then 3 other mystery locations that are still to be announced. Next, the new largest hotel in Japan, or largest hotel and entertainment complex in Japan, is currently being built in Shinjuku in Kabukicho. The new building's called the Tokyu Kabukicho Tower. It's going to have 48 floors and 5 basement levels, so it's going to have a lot in it. There'll be a live music venue. The one that closed in Odaiba is moving over here. There'll be places to eat, an arcade, a theatre, a cinema, and 2 hotels, which are guaranteed to have fantastic views of the city because you're so high up. In Tokyo hotels, I've had some terrible views, and I've been lucky and had some wonderful views right here in Kabukicho, where the new hotel's going to be. So I think it's going to be really good. It's due to open in April 2023. Next, TeamLab Planets has been extended again until the end of 2023, which is great news, especially now that TeamLab Borderless has closed temporarily while it's being moved. Both of them are digital art museums that use projection mapping, lights and music to create really immersive experiences. They are stunning. I definitely recommend them to anyone. TeamLab Borderless is the permanent museum, which is currently closed. It's being moved to a more central location, and it's going to be reopening sometime in 2023. TeamLab Planets is the temporary exhibition. It's got some rooms the same as TeamLab Borderless and others that are different, including some where you walk through water with projections on the surface. So now Planets has been extended, the good news is that whenever you go to Japan, you'll definitely be able to see one of them, if not both. The new TeamLab Borderless is going to be part of a new complex they're building in the area between Tokyo Tower and Roppongi. It's called the Toranomon Azabudai project, and it'll be opening in 2023. They're redeveloping a whole section of the city. You can see on Google Maps where it's going to be. It's going to have some pretty interesting architecture. I do like how these new developments have lots of greenery and roof gardens and things. The new TeamLab Borderless is going to be underground because it doesn't need any windows. The development's also going to include the new tallest building in Japan at 330 metres tall. That's half the height of the Tokyo Skytree. The Skytree is classified as a tower, not a building. Although actually when the Tokyo Torch is finished, that's going to be even taller than this one. So that's it for Japan news. I hope some of you will be able to make it to some of these new things soon. Maybe Small Worlds Tokyo, Coco Curry World, or the Olympic Stadium tour. Tell me which one you're most excited about in the comments. And I'll see you not next week, but the week after on Thursday. Bye bye.